Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at fossils. Fossils are coming back, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a little bit of a break from fossils. We've taken some time. We've collected our thoughts together. We've, had a little bit of space. But now fossils are back. For anyone wondering, we saw fossils back in Darkness Ablaze, which was Sword and Shield 3. We are now heading into Sword and Shield 10. And given that we have, basically one set every 3 months, that's 7 sets. That's almost 2 years. But now we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are back. And I should mention translations from the lovely Antoine Boulet. We are big fans of the lovely Antoine Boulet. So, what have we got here? Unidentified fossil. Play this card as if it were a 60 HP colourless basic Pokemon, and any time during your turn before you attack, you may discard this card from play. This card can't retreat. An unidentified fossil is, It's not a new card, ladies and gentlemen. We had unidentified fossil. We had it as recently as Cosmic Eclipse. And we know what unidentified fossil does. This is what it does. And then essentially what we've got is the option to evolve this into a number of other Pokemon. In this case, we got a couple. We've got Bastiodon and we've got Rampardos. And nobody should be surprised about this because they are the Gen 4 fossils. And like I say, we're in this situation at the moment where we are full Gen 4. They are, of course, fossils that were available in Legends Arceus. And they are the Gen 4 fossils, and we've just done the remakes of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So yeah, these were always going to be the two that got featured. Are they any good? Well, I'll be honest with you, Bastiodon, I don't think it is. And I'm not loving Bastiodon at all. Which is sad, because I actually really like Bastiodon as a Pokemon. I just don't like this card. The attack takes 30 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon V's attacks. Yay! But you got 160 HP. And that's not actually very much, at all. This is on the low end for Pokemon Stage 2. So, sure, you'll give us, not on the low end, I suppose, but we see up to 170, 180. I showed you a new Mamoswine the other day. And that new Mamoswine has, frankly, a lot more. Mamoswine's a big boy. Mamoswine we like. Mamoswine, you're coming in here and you're rocking up to 180. So Mamoswine might not have this ability to reduce his damage done by 30. But it's just got 20 more HP. And it works against anything, Pokemon V's or otherwise. So brilliant. Cheers for that. No. Quite frankly, no. And then we've got the attack. And the attack is free energy, 180, and you do 30 damage to yourself. No. I'm sorry, 180 on a stage 2 is no longer good enough. Now, I know we got Choice Bout at the moment, and I mention this in almost every video, and I kind of have to, because I'm sorry, Choice Bout is that important. But the fact of the matter is, 180 with a Choice Bout goes up to 210, so without the Choice Bout, you're getting a one-hit KO on support Pokemon like Crobat. With the Choice Bout, you're getting most Pokemon V, but there's still a bunch of 220 HP Pokemon V that you're going to be missing. Brilliant. Cheers for that. And then it's a stage 2, but it's not just a regular stage 2, it's a stage 2 that evolves from a fossil. And remember, fossils are like basic Pokemon when they're in play, but you can't quick ball for a fossil. Sure, you can search it out with stuff that searches items, but that's not as good. It's harder to get into play. It's an awkward stage 2 to get into play, and you give me an awkward stage 2 to get into play that I'd put free energy on and I'm not doing enough damage, and I'm doing 30 to myself? Nah. And sure, we got stuff like Metal Saucer pre-rotation. I'm bored of this card, right? I don't like it. Let's move on to Rampardos. I'm not even giving it a score. Rampardos, I do like. 170 HP, that's a bit better. Single energy, 60 damage. Not loving it, but it's single energy attack and it can get some evolving Pokemon. So early doors, yeah, I don't hate it. What I like, however, what I really like is 2 energy. If your opponent has 3 or fewer cards in hand, this attack does nothing, but if they've got 3 or more, you do 240. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm talking about. Because here, we've got a really good attack. Sure, it's a stage 2, and sure, you're evolving from fossils, which is awkward. But now, it's only 2 energy, which is way more payable than 3, because you can't play them in one turn. The ideal situation is fossil, next turn, rare candy, boom. Well, here, you can go fossil, attaching energy, rare candy, attaching energy, smash. This is what I'm talking about. If you're going to give me fossils and you're going to make them awkward to get into play, can you at least, please, do me the courtesy of making them really good? Bastiodon, I think, fails that test. I honestly do. I don't think it's good enough, and I think it's kind of an embarrassment to the whole fossil thing. But then you go and give me this, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I can work with this. This is good. Because 240 gets Pokemon V. It just does. It gets all your Pokemon V. Okay, there's a couple random ones that have got a bit above. But to all intents and purposes, it gets your Pokemon V. And now if we add Choice Bout, you're getting most V-Star. As I've shown you, things like Dowger and Palkia in this new set, they go up to 280. We do see 280 on V-Star, and that's upsetting. But generally speaking, you'll be doing all right here. This is not the end of the world. There are ways to do that extra 10 damage if you're desperate, but being able to KO any Pokemon V and pretty much any Pokemon V-Star, or at least the majority of them, for 2 energy is good. Now, at this stage, this really, really makes me miss Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. Because Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick was the way we've seen Rampardos work in the past, and that was the one that just lets you play a fighting Pokemon from your discard pile straight onto the bench. As long as it's the only card in your hand, then you draw 5 cards. In Expanded with Maxie, yes. In Standard, I still worry it's going to be too awkward to get into play, but man, it's worth it if you can. Now, as for this, if your opponent has 3 or fewer cards in hand, this attack does nothing. There is no excuse for this, ladies and gentlemen, because Marnie exists. Absolutely no excuse. Because Marnie, both players shuffle their hands and put them at the bottom of their deck. You draw 5 cards, your opponent draws 4, assuming you played it, otherwise it's the other way round. So, yeah, Marnie. There's no excuse here whatsoever because we've got Marnie. Most of the time, your opponent is not going to want fewer than 4 cards in hand. And this is another one of those fun situations where your opponent can go, ha ha ha, I've only got 2 cards in hand. Gutted. And I'm like, well, mate, you've only got 2 cards in hand. So, yeah. I'm not going to be too upset if my opponent is deliberately wrecking their hand. And incidentally, there is an option here to just play some kind of hand disruption. So if your opponent ends up with very few cards in hand, gutted. It does mean, things like Roxanne, that if your opponent's got 3 or fewer prizes remaining, you both shuffle your hands into your deck, you get 6 cards, they get 2. It means you can't combo this with Roxanne. And that actually is the real downside of this particular attack. Because I love the idea of putting my opponent down to a 2-card hand and then immediately using this to take key KO after key KO. And that's essentially what they're stopping you doing here. They are stopping you really going Roxanne and wrecking. But I can still go Marnie and wreck. It's not perfect, but it's all right. And the fact is, I can save Marnie. I can search Marnie out with Luminion. I can recover Marnie with Eldegoss. It's not that difficult. And honestly, if I can get 2 attacks off with this, I should be winning the game. If I can get 2 attacks off with Rampardos, and I got 170 HP, so it's got a bit of bulk there, I should be taking out 2 Pokemon V or V-Star, and at that point, I should be close enough to winning the game that all is good. Yes, you've got to jump through some hoops for Rampardos, and that's not easy. Yes, it's a stage 2 that evolves from a fossil, and yes, I've got to watch my opponent's hand size, but this is a single prize Pokemon that can do 240. I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. When I give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. This is the kind of one that I'm going to obsess over and test a lot, and it might never work, but I'm going to have fun testing it. But I want to know what you think about Bastiodon. Am I missing something, or is that card just bad? Because seriously, the more I look at Bastiodon, I'm like, yay, it's an awkward stage 2, with an ability which is basically completely undone by its low HP, comparatively, and it does not enough damage for too much energy, and it damages itself. I mean, come on. Come on. And then let me know what you think about this Rampardos. Incidentally, Bastiodon hasn't got unnaturally low HP. It's generally got HP around here. Still don't like it, even a little bit. But I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.